What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to a new Worst Take YouTube video. Now, here today, we're going to teach you some new things, and you may disagree with us, but let us know in the comments if you do, because we're going to tell you why Luka Doncic is the most overrated, overhyped player in the NBA in at least the last 10 seasons.
Yeah, and just to start, we're not saying that he's not a superstar player or he doesn't possess elite tools and whatnot. It's more about the fact that he gets LeBron James type hype. And at this point in his career, it really isn't warranted. The success that he's had is minimal as far as winning goes. And it's not like, oh, he just doesn't have a good roster around him. He hasn't performed well in clutch spots. And McConnell, do you want to get into those clutch moments just a little bit to start this off?
Yeah, I think Luka Doncic was hyped up, especially after that Clippers series, as arguably being a top 5 player in the NBA. I was still borderline maybe top 10 after that series. And, he hit the game winner against the Clippers. Matt definitely remembers that. He's a Clippers fan. But in the clutch, he has not been good in his career. The Mavericks have been abysmal in Luka's career in clutch games, 5 points or less going into 5 minutes remaining in the game. He has not been good whatsoever. Right now this season, shooting 27% from three in clutch time. That's not good at all. And he gets the hype like he's one of the premier closers in the NBA. His team is 500 in close games. His team right now is not good. Like, this is not a team that is being hyped up like the Lakers are anymore, because at the beginning of the year, everybody looked at Luka and they said, this guy's going to win the MVP. He was the odds-on favorite. And they said the Mavs, oh, wow, the Mavs could make a deep run. Where was this coming from? People saw one first-round series where he lost in 6 games, and they said that this guy's going to win MVP and this team's going to be contending in the next season. Utterly ridiculous. I think people look at Luka like he is 5 years from now. They've got the future goggles on, and they're looking at him. They're like, this is what he's going to be. And so we're going to hype him up like he's already that today. The problem is that's what makes people really not like players, is when they get that type of hype. Another player that got that same type of hype was Devin Booker. Once Devin Booker scored 70 points, people talked about him like he was 5 years in the future. And now we're about 4 years, 3 years, and he's finally getting into that guy. But we've had to hear the hype about how great he is for so long, and he hasn't been great. And obviously now he's definitely progressed, and he's now at that level where he is a star player. But we're done. We're done hearing about it. Stop hyping it up. Same thing with a guy like Jason Tatum. After his first playoff series against LeBron James and he was hyped up, everybody started looking at him like he was 5 years in the future and a superstar. It's like, no, these guys aren't superstars yet. Luka Doncic is not a top 5 player in the NBA. He is a loved James Harden, but he's not as good at all. James Harden is significantly better. He's a better scorer. He's a better passer. And he's just as good of a rebounder if you factor in the height difference between the two players. James Harden leads the league in assists. He's shooting over 40% from three. Luka's shooting about 33% from three.
Also,
that's not even great.
And what is Luka known for? He's known for the step back three. Well, you look at his career numbers. He shoots 32.3% from three, and he takes 7.8 threes a game. So when people talk about, oh, James Harden is inefficient, Luka is extremely inefficient. And like I said, it's not that we're saying that he's not good or anything, but the hype that he gets is not warranted yet. Maybe he can get better. Like he should get better. He will get more efficient. Also, look at his team around him. You brought up some guys like Jason Tatum, for instance. And if you compare him to Jason Tatum, I think the big difference between the two is, one, Luka puts up much better numbers, but then Tatum wins more. They get into deeper playoff runs. Like, that's what we've seen early on in those guys' careers. Well, Jason Tatum has a much better unit around him. He has Kemba Walker. He has Jaylen Brown. You know, those two guys are better than anyone that Luka has. Luka's guy next to him is Kristaps Porzingis, who I think is more overrated than Luka. He averages like 17 and 7, and people think that he is a star player. No, he's a 7'3" dude that can put up some points and can't rebound. I mean, and McConnell, we've talked about this a lot. It's so odd that the dude doesn't get rebounds, and he's never healthy. So it's definitely been tough on Luka, just having not the best players around him, but you still have to produce as a superstar. It's the NBA. You have to win. Look at LeBron James when he was young in his career. Because in my lifetime, I feel like this guy has got as much hype or as close to as much hype as LeBron James. I think that's the most comparable guy to him in terms of, oh, this guy is taking over the league.
Yeah.
LeBron James was making finals runs, making Eastern Conference championship runs with terrible rosters right off the bat. Luka
Yeah.
has had a 7th seed, probably not going to make the playoffs this year, and he didn't make the playoffs his rookie year. So in his first 3 years, he's had a 7th seed and got knocked out in the first round. He hasn't had the success to become this, oh, he's a generational talent. Could he become that? Absolutely. But he's not there yet. It's not time to make those comparisons to LeBron's, to I don't think anyone's talking like, okay, I don't know if anyone's talking like he's LeBron yet, but it seems very close to that. Would you agree with that, McConnell?
I think the hype that he gets is the same amount as LeBron. If he does something, Bleacher Report, ESPN, everybody's tweeting about it. Same thing as LeBron. And I think LaMelo's getting to that area too, where they're just getting so much hype, and people are just looking at him with the future goggles, like I brought up earlier. And something that he's doing, Matt, you brought it up perfectly, is he's not really having a lot of team success. And obviously he's young. He can get better. Yeah. But not everybody reaches their potential, their ceiling. Like a lot of guys, they come in and then they ball out, and then all of a sudden they regress or they struggle, or people start to figure them out. Like, it's not NBA 2K where a guy comes into the league and he's able to start right here and it just goes, oh, next year. Wow, he's a 99 overall. That's not how actual basketball works. You get better and you get worse. You progress and you regress. We don't know how high he's going to get. Can he get to like a LeBron James caliber player leading a team to NBA championships? Yeah. But stop acting like he's already that player, like he's already an MVP caliber player, because he's not. He can put up good numbers, but he's not winning. I think that's the thing that people need to focus in on when hyping people up is how much success that they're having. And obviously some players, they've got horrible rosters around them, but his roster isn't horrible. He's got an okay roster around him. Is it a roster that should be the number 1 seed in the West? Absolutely not. If they were doing that, I would accept the LeBron level hype if he was like a top 3 seed in the West. But he's not even top 7. And that was last year when he was the 7th seed. And he wasn't even close. Like last year, the 7th seed wasn't close to the 6th seed. It was like a 3-game differential between the 7 and the 6. And it was a shortened season. So this year, stop hyping him up. And obviously, I want to say, I think I can speak for both of us when we say, like, we want Luka to succeed. Like, we don't want him to, like, turn into somebody that's not as good. We don't want him to just reach his max potential. Like, we want this to happen. It's just stop claiming that it already has. Don't crown him the next great one based off of one playoff performance, or if he makes a cool step back 3, because, well, if you watch all the step back 3s, it's not a very good shot. He's not very efficient shooting it. Like I said, this year he's shooting about 33% from 3. That is not good for an NBA player.
Also, that's his career high right now in a season.
Yeah. Like, so he's getting better, I guess, but like, and I don't want to say like 33% isn't horrible, but it's not somebody that should be taking 7 3-pointers a game level of good. Like that's a okay, you're wide open, you take the shot. Luka's just like, yeah, I'm gonna shoot this, and he'll just take bad shots. And that's not something that you want your players to be doing. You don't want them taking bad shots. And yes, we all loved when Kobe would hit a clutch fadeaway jumper or do that type of thing, or James Harden hits those difficult step backs, or LeBron James hits a crazy runner. Yeah, it's great. But there's a big difference between Luka Doncic and Kobe, Harden, LeBron. Those are guys that are incredible all-time level talents. And not to say Luka isn't that talented, but he's just not at that level yet. So stop having him take the same shots. And as a Thunder fan, I have the same problem with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He takes these way too difficult shots that aren't high rate, aren't good percentages of making them, but he takes the shots and he misses a fair amount, but he gets hyped up for all the ones he made, and everybody overlooks the misses. Stop overlooking the misses. Make him understand what's a good shot, and then he'll be able to take those good shots, and he can improve his efficiency. If he improves his efficiency by taking away those bad shots, He could be a top 5 player, but he's not. He's taking bad shots. He's inefficient at them, and his team isn't winning. So what screams top 5? Like, I don't even know if he's top 10. Like, can a top 10 player really be on a team that isn't in the playoffs?
See, that's where it gets tough. And he's almost 22. He turns 22 in about 2 weeks. So he's very, very young.
Yes.
But the big and you brought up James Harden. What's the issue with James Harden? He doesn't win with other good players around him, right? We don't know how Luka will look if he was in Jason Tatum's position. We just don't know. We really don't, because maybe he's just too inefficient and they still don't win. That's the issue I have. We see so many NBA players because the league is so star driven. And now maybe Harden will win this year on the Nets because they're just stacked. But in Houston, they did not win. He had Chris Paul by him. He had Russell Westbrook. They had good players there. They had Clint Capella, but he just couldn't win. That was the problem with Harden, right? And that's why a lot of people aren't James Harden's fans, or I guess James Harden truthers. But we don't know what Luka's going to do when that time comes, when he has a good roster around him. Will he be able to take that team up to the next level, or will they just hover around being okay? Are they going to be a consistent 3 to 6 seed and never do anything? Because they very well could, and we could look at him and go, man, this guy Luka is 30 years old. He's had 4 playoff runs that are where he made it to the conference finals, but they always lose. And it always seems like he's the guy taking the shot at the end of the game, and he's the guy that's missing it. And yeah, he's the one taking the clutch shots, and maybe it's only one shot, but this is basketball. It's superstar driven. You have your best player win the game. And if he gets late into his career and it's like, okay, he's 30 years old and they haven't won, and he's the guy taking the shots at the end of the game and they're not going in because his game is built around step back threes that are inefficient, that's going to become a problem, and people aren't going to be talking about Luka as this generational talent. Could he improve his game? Yes, it is very likely that he will. But how much better will he get? That's the question, and we just don't know yet. That's the big issue there. We just haven't seen it. So in my mind, we can't keep hyping him up as this LeBron James type talent because he just isn't quite there yet. I hope he gets there. Makana, I think you hope he gets there. He's a very likable guy, but we got to wait some time before we start crowning him as this all-time great, because it seems like right now 21-year-old Luka Doncic is known as a all-time great, and it's not warranted yet. I hope he gets there. I hope that the Mavs go on some really fun runs because he is fun to watch. I think everyone would agree with that. And he puts up crazy numbers. So we just got to give it some time.
Yeah. And if you like this video, hit the like button down below. If you want to subscribe, see our future videos, hit the subscribe button as well. Once again, said at the beginning of the video, comment if you disagree. If you're a big Luka fan, you think he deserves the hype, let us know. We want to see those debates in the comments. Also follow us on social media. We got a full new layout. Check out the podcast. Obviously, we're on YouTube right now, so you see the YouTube button. But check all that stuff out, and we'll see all of you again next time.